First, right here at 5 on WHAS 11 News, brand new pictures from LMPD. Detectives sharing what they believe the vehicle may have been involved in a deadly shooting outside of a Louisville nightclub. Thanks for joining us. I'm Shay McAllister.
And I'm Doug Proffitt. The shooting happened at 1 a.m. on Saturday. Gunfire hitting 8 people, killing 1 person outside the H2O Lounge. That's in the Russell neighborhood. WHAS 11's Ian Hardwitt and photojournalist Jessica Farley talked with the homicide commander late today, asking for your help locating this SUV.
Take a look at this SUV. LMPD released the photos of the light brown or gold Chevy Tahoe dated between 2007 and 2014. They're hoping for the public's help finding it after the department said a suspect drove away in the car after a deadly weekend shooting.
We know that somebody knows where this vehicle is. We are desperately trying to locate this vehicle because we believe it will help lead us to identifying a suspect in this case.
The shooting near 26th and Broadway happened outside H2O Lounge around 12:45 a.m. on Saturday. Gunfire hit 8 people and put bullet holes in the front of the car, according to police. Now, the driver of that Chevy Tahoe, police believe, is their only suspect at this time. They also believe that's the only person who fired any shots at H2O Lounge. Gunfire at the club killed 40-year-old Joseph Bowers there at the scene. 7 other victims went to the hospital, one of them with life-threatening injuries. Louisville Metro's Alcoholic Beverage Control Administrator Brad Silveria shared that the lounge has agreed to voluntarily close the establishment temporarily and later told us that H2O Lounge's owner has been really cooperative with the ABC investigation. In Louisville, Ian Hardwitt, WHAS 11, on your side.
LMPD also said that H2O Lounge is cooperating with their investigation.
Now, if you have any information that can help detectives now that you've seen the photographs, the 2007 to 2014 Chevy Tahoe, call LMPD. Of course, you can do so anonymously at 574-LMPD. We're also learning here at 5 more about the victim in the mass shooting. 40-year-old Joseph Bowers owned a towing company, JYK Towing, in Indianapolis. His family says he was one of 8 siblings. Our Indianapolis station says they gathered to mourn their loss over the weekend, just beginning to process his death. They did not want to speak on camera just yet.
More news right here at 5 o'clock. New developments this afternoon in a double shooting in Shelby County. A second victim has died, and 32-year-old Michael Hunt is now behind bars. Police say the suspect told the detective he had a job to take both women out. Police say on Friday night, right around 9 o'clock in the Cropper area of Shelby County, they found a woman shot dead, another woman with life-threatening injuries. She later died at the hospital. Right now, Hunt is charged with 1 count of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. He is due to be arraigned in court tomorrow.
Now we turn to the fight over abortion 2 years to the day after the U.S. Supreme Court ended the constitutional right to have an abortion. In Kentucky, a law instantly went into effect, as you remember, banning the procedure entirely.
Today, a group of doctors, lawyers, and medical students came together to share the impacts of the ban on the medical profession, saying fewer medical students are choosing to work here because of it. On this day 2 years ago, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled to overturn the constitutional right to abortion. In Kentucky, a law automatically went into effect that day, eliminating all abortion access.
It is wrong, it is extreme, and it is cruel. And I didn't think we'd still be here 2 years later, but here we are.
Today, pro-choice advocates say the law's impact extends beyond abortion access, influencing the way doctors can help their patients. U of L OBGYN resident Dr. Kaylin Samuel describing a regular occurrence for her. A race against time to get paperwork done ahead of what are sometimes emergency operations.
Even to the point where we're having to fill this paperwork out before we're able to provide care to them, which has halted their care and definitely caused harm even to our patients.
One of the biggest concerns is the future of Kentucky's medical field. Multiple pro-choice groups describing what they call a concerning consequence of the abortion ban. Fewer medical students choosing to study in the state and doctors deciding to work elsewhere.
We've already lost 15% of our doctors. 25% of the doctors we've lost in Kentucky in the last 2 years are OBGYNs. This is going to have ripple effects for a long time unless we fix it now.
In response, the Kentucky Reproductive Freedom Fund is launching a new statewide campaign, putting billboards like these in Kentucky's rural areas and mobile billboards in cities like Lexington, Frankfort, and Bowling Green. Meanwhile, Kentucky Right for Life Director Adia Wishner calls Kentucky's abortion ban a commitment to protecting preborn Kentuckians, and she says 2 years later, the mission is holding strong.
That is protecting lives. It's ensuring that mothers who may have health care issues we want them to be seen, appropriately. But it's also protecting the lives of Kentucky's most vulnerable citizens, and that is preborn Kentuckians.
Planned Parenthood also announced that it will spend millions of dollars ahead of this November election, campaigning for abortion access and pro-choice candidates. The organization says $40 million will be spent in 8 battleground states, including Arizona, which has an abortion referendum on the ballot. The states targeted are where either President Joe Biden saw victory in 2020 or they're hoping to flip from Donald Trump in this year's election.
Taking a closer look, the U.S. Supreme Court is stepping into the fight over transgender rights.
And they're going to hear the appeals from the Biden administration and families looking to block state bans on gender-affirming care. Now, the case involves a law down in Tennessee that restricts puberty blockers and hormone therapy for transgender minors. 25 states have adopted these laws banning gender-affirming care for minors, including right here in Kentucky. The Biden administration is part of the effort to appeal the ban on this care. Most of the states enacting these laws have Republican-led legislatures. The ACLU made it clear while the Supreme Court is not taking up Kentucky's law specifically, they're going to be watching this case very closely.
In a statement, the organization says the outcome of the DOJ's challenge to the Sixth Circuit's decision will determine how our case moves forward. A favorable decision would restore care for transgender youth in Kentucky and Tennessee. Meanwhile, the Family Foundation, an organization that supports the ban, said, "We are encouraged that the Supreme Court has decided to hear this important case, and we urge the high courts to uphold these common sense laws protecting children from harmful gender transitions." Arguments in this case will be heard in the fall.
We have new information here today about a terrible crash that shut down the Gene Snider Freeway overnight. 2 drivers are dead after the early morning wreck there on the Gene Snider. Metro Police tell us it happened just after 3:30 this morning on the westbound lanes just past the Preston Highway exit. Officers believe a pickup truck was going the wrong way, driving east in the westbound lanes, and that's when investigators say it hit a second pickup truck head on. The crash caused both cars to catch on fire. EMS and Okolona Fire responded quickly to put out the flames, but both drivers were pronounced dead at the scene. A pawn shop on Dixie Highway looks to be a loss after an early morning blaze there. Shively Fire was called to Wholesale Gyms near the Dixie Food Mart shortly after 1 this morning. One firefighter was taken to a local hospital for observation due to minor injuries. All of their searches were negative. Fire officials are still trying to find out how it started.
What a gorgeous blue sky we have out there today, and it matches some really nice temperatures. Doug, stepping out this morning, I was almost shocked by how hot it wasn't.
I think you're right.
It felt nice out there.
I think the whole community, you're right, shared in that shock. It was a nice surprise, but we all also had to say, this isn't going to last, Colleen. Something else getting ready to come.
I was shocked too. I was like, wait a minute, is it supposed to be like this? Yeah, this is actually the kind of weather we typically see this kind of year. 91 degrees, so we did jump from the 80s to 90s over the past 20 minutes, but I'll tell you what, it still feels comfortable. We have that north wind. Our dew points are in the 50s, which means we don't have heat index out there. It feels true to the temperature, 87 at Bowman, 87 in Bardstown. So over the next few hours, upper 80s, low 90s, very low humidity out there, so it is going to feel so nice and comfortable out overnight tonight. Now, once we head towards tomorrow, the wind is going to start to switch from the south, bringing us some higher humidity levels, which will bring potentially 98 to 100 heat index values. Our actual high is 95, so it's not too far away from the actual temperature. It is going to feel very hot tomorrow with a high of 95 degrees. Now, we are tracking our next system, which is going to actually bring us some relief on Wednesday, and by Thursday, we're going to be back to this weather that we're seeing right now. So it's just the next 2 days are going to be a little uncomfortable tomorrow with the heat, and then as we head towards tomorrow afternoon, there's a chance of an isolated shower, but the scattered showers and storms are on Wednesday. This is going to be scattered to widespread. So finally, we get to pick up some rain in that forecast. I'm going to show you how much rain we've seen so far in the month of June and how much we could see from this system on Wednesday coming up. Shay, Doug?
Right, thanks so much, Colleen. Looking ahead, tomorrow the Jefferson County Public School Board is planning to vote on its transportation plan with TARC. The plan includes contracting up to 70 TARC drivers to work for the district. The goal is to help alleviate the JCPS bus driver shortage. At the same time, the Transit Authority is facing potential layoffs due to service cuts. The school district says the goal is to restore some of the bus routes that it had initially cut for magnet schools. And we are still looking at close to 15,000 students who will not have bus service at the start of next year. Speaking of service reductions, 22 routes will be affected starting on June the 30th. They will impact weekday service levels on selected routes. All routes will maintain their current hours and frequencies on Saturdays and Sundays. At this time, TARC 3 service will remain the same.
Well, Louisville loves its libraries, the public libraries. You know that. You've supported it for decades. And there was some big news for the Louisville Free Public Library System today. This morning, supporters gathered at the main library on York Street downtown to announce a $1.5 million community matching grant from the James Graham Brown Foundation. Now, this grant will help turn the page on 4 ongoing library construction projects, including reopening the Parkland Library in West Louisville, renovating the Main and Portland libraries, and building a brand new library for Fern Creek.
We also need to make sure that we continue to support the operations of the library as well, because these are more than just buildings that require one-time capital. For all the great programming that I've just described and all of the reasons that you all know and love and support the library, that takes a great team. That takes services and support on a daily basis.
Louisville Metro government committed initial funding for these 4 projects back in April of 2022 as part of the first round of American Rescue Plan money. Since then, additional investments bring the total public funding to more than $36 million.